Hello, this is Fred Wahl, the Visa Coach. Today's topic is how to apply for a CR1 spouse visa.
VisaCoach. Fast, easy, and personal.
Hi, my name is Fred Wahl. I am the Visa Coach, and I'm known for front-loaded immigration presentations that tell your story, leading to fast and easy approval, and the personal one-on-one attention you receive as my client. I invented the three-step immigration success method, which anticipates the likely problems and skepticism your case might face, and then squashes those issues, well, when we work together on the ideal appearance of your case and preparation of my signature front-loaded presentation that tells your story the way we want it heard. When properly implemented, my method helps win approval for your visa even before the interview starts. Today's topic is how to apply for a spouse visa, and usually it's a CR1 spouse visa. Two departments of the federal government are involved in the processing of spouse visas. USCIS, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, which is part of Homeland Security, and the U.S. Department of State. USCIS handles the initial processing of the application here stateside. And then the Department of State will first process the case at their National Visa Center, NVC, in New Hampshire, and finally forward the case for final processing to the American Embassy or consulate overseas in the country where your spouse lives. First, you, the U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, submit your application to USCIS. Spouse visa cases are sent to Chicago or Phoenix, depending on where you live, sorted and then distributed, sometimes randomly, around the USA to 5 different processing centers. USCIS sends you a receipt, and on that receipt is shown your case number. The first 3 letters indicate which center has been assigned to your case. EAC is Vermont, LIN, Nebraska, MSC, Missouri, WAC, California, and SRC, Texas. Historically, some of the centers, notably WAC, California, work faster than others, and SRC, Texas, has been the slowest. But you don't have a choice. It's the work of the initial sorting clerk that determines where the case goes. And the sorting is mostly geographic, but there seems to be a lot of randomness inserted as well. USCIS examines your application and reviews that the required civil documents, such as birth certificates, marriage certificates, divorce decrees, visa photos, etc., have been included. USCIS verifies that you are eligible to apply. The FBI gets involved and does a criminal background check on the American. Now, if at this stage USCIS finds items missing or problems, well, they either deny outright if you really messed up the application, or issue an RFE, request for evidence, listing what is missing and giving you about a month to fix the problem. When satisfied, USCIS approves your application, well, at least as far as they are concerned. And then the case is passed over to the Department of State. The Department of State has a processing center in New Hampshire called the National Visa Center, or NVC. And NVC takes over the processing of your case. First, they choose which consulate conducts further processing of your case and assign a new case number that identifies that consulate. And the new case number starts with 3 letters that indicate which consulate has been assigned. For example, MNL, Manila, Philippines; GUZ, Guangzhou, China; CDJ, Juarez, Mexico; RDJ, Rio; BGT, Bogata; SDO, Santo Domingo; HCM, Ho Chi Minh City; Kiev, KV for Kiev; and MOS for Moscow. Now, via email, NVC will contact both you and your spouse, requesting first that she assigns you as her agent and submits an online application form, and finally asking for 2 separate payments. One payment is for processing of your affidavit of support, and the other is for processing of her visa application. Once these payments have been made, well, you will be asked to mail a packet of civil documents, police clearances, and financial evidences to NVC. And at VisaCoach, I call this the mini petition. NVC reveals your mini petition, and once satisfied that all required materials have been provided, will ship the file via diplomatic pouch, FedEx, to the consulate in her country. It takes about 2 weeks for the case file to arrive and be entered into the overseas consulate's computer system. Once there, the consulate contacts your spouse with instructions. Notification may be by mail, phone, or email. The consulate will advise how to book the visa interview appointment, where to obtain the medical, and should provide a checklist of what she's required to bring to the interview. At the interview, she presents originals of her civil documents that were copied in the mini petition and meets with a consular officer. Now, his job is to catch fraud. He's going to ask her questions to assess whether he will grant the visa, or if ineligibility is discovered or fraud suspected, deny the visa. If the interview ends with "Welcome to America," your spouse's passport with its new spouse visa attached is returned to her about 2 weeks later. The spouse visa is good for 6 months for her to start her travel to the USA. And then once she arrives, and after you guys settle down, she should contact USCIS with her new mailing address. A month later, she'll visit a USCIS local office for biometrics. That's ID photo and fingerprinting. And a month after that, her green card, which shows that she's now a lawful permanent resident, should arrive in the mail. This is Fred Wahl, the Visa Coach. I'm on your side. Call me.
Asking U.S. Immigration for permission to bring your fiancé to America for marriage and happily ever after is a slow, complicated, and often frustrating process. It is all too easy to make crucial mistakes that cause delays and denials. Fred Wahl, the Visa Coach, has written a short guide for couples contemplating fiancé immigration that points out the pitfalls, red flags, and common mistakes which cause problems, and how to avoid them. The Visa Coach is giving away this indispensable guide free of charge because visas shouldn't stand in the way of love. For you and your partner's peace of mind, don't do anything until you read this guide first. Get your free copy at visacoach.com/5.